they go on a mass murder spree of women. As they Jack the Rippers come out. What was that dude? Richard Ramirez all of them sent out to go do something about these women that's waking up. They don't want them woke. They don't want them to know the power of the woman and the power of the mitochondria and the power of the uterus, and that if a man understand those powers, when he know what his sacred secretions are, when he understand how his king and queen chambers, his pituitary and his pineal gland can be ignited in the heart center from a woman allowing her mitochondria to turn his on. As soon as she turn his on, he ain't the same no more. He got to go through a death and a rebirth. If he did his due diligence until that point, if he did his part of becoming a better man, he has shown himself approved before the woman or the women, because it ain't going to never be one. Even when it look like one, it's going to be one in the background that's going to be teaching her the correct way when he about his business. When he building the self, he going to run into a woman. She going to immediately know who to go to ask him, what's up with him? He ain't the same as the rest of them niggas. There's something different about him. Why is he different? And that other woman going to be like, well, what do you mean? Why is he different? I don't know. It's just something I get about him that ain't the same. He don't quite walk like the rest of them. He don't have the same interests as the other guys. And he kind of artistic, but he kind of smart. He ain't the same. He ain't like them other motherfuckers. And then her eyes going to perk up and say, oh, really? Well, what did he say to you? And she going to say some shit like, oh, he whispered in my ear. And she going to know from what you whispered in her ear who you is, why you there, what you come for, and what to do next. See, now, sometimes the woman don't know she know who to go to. It's all subconscious. But she know. I'm going to go down some more, see where we at. Make sure I'm staying on pace with the information required. No, the transgender men, they're going to start trying to put the uterus in them. That is the same as when they say they cut off Medusa's head. They don't really cut the head off of her. They replace her with somebody that's not her. Historically, it carries on as her head was severed from her body. But the reality of it is she was replaced. That's what that means. She was replaced. Now, is there any way to verify that she was replaced? Yeah. If you go in Greece, Helen was a woman. But when you get to Rome, Helen became a man. Her head was severed. It's the same symbolism that they use when they destroy the icons on the earth as they destroy the women of the earth. So it's the same symbolism. The symbolism hasn't changed in all these years. Cut off your nose to spite your face. You know. So when you realize that aspect, when they start to try to replace or take the uterus from women and put them in transgenders, that's going to cause an effect. A bad effect. I'm telling you now, that's not going to be good. Because the queen already, we've been suffering, talking about African Americans, Negroes, colored folks, whatever you want to call yourself, been suffering because it was a group of women that wasn't allowed to be mothers, have husbands, or live a married life, or live a life having somebody that would look out for their interests the same as the earthborn women who was from here. That pissed her off enough to let these motherfuckers hold their foot on our neck this amount of time. This her shit. This her shit. And so, if she let them hold... Now look, they could have been doing this for 2,000 years, but it's only been a little over 400. Why? Why haven't it been 2,000 years of this shit? Because the people that is being redeemed was under this shit for a couple thousand years. With no rights. When you talking about civil rights and shit, these motherfuckers didn't have a right to say shit. The grievances is in the text. It's not a secret. They all know what it is. So when you deprive those women like that, then imagine how she gonna react when they start putting a uterus in a man. Because that's what the war in heaven was about. A man cannot produce a child without the agency of a woman. And a woman can produce a child without the agency of a man. Parthogenesis. It's a word in the language for a reason. Why? And so now, as they continue to send us messages by the destruction of the icons or the sites, and they told us by the destruction of the sites that they were going to try one more campaign as the Aquarian Age dawned as an attempt to thwart all of the work done by the Christ. They would try to destroy the women once again at the closing of the age as a final attempt to hold on to power. They have to notify us on a large enough scale where we can discover it. And they have to give us a period of time of approximately 5 Earth years, which are a couple of seconds in galactic time. So you call it a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. In the galactic, when they say that, it's like 5, 10, 15. Same amount of time. Now, watch what happens. Around 1991, World Trade Center bombing basement car bomb blew up like the World Trade. George Bush issued a speech called the 1,000 Points of Light New World Order speech, where he informed the world that they had laid down this plot to take over, and it was going to be successful. No matter what, nobody could stop it, right? So that's what you call the announcement. That's what you call the first count. The second count is the federal building. 5 years later, 95 was the federal building in the Oklahoma City bombing by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. Now, Terry Nichols ain't had nothing to do with it. Timothy McVeigh was in a trance and don't even know what the fuck happened. And they killed him anyway. Because they didn't want him to talk. They didn't want him to snap out of the Manchurian program and tell y'all what really happened. So they killed him, put him on death. Terry Nichols don't even know shit. He just got caught up in the connection scheme because somebody seen somebody with Timothy McVeigh. They had to put somebody with him. So the Nichols brothers, it was originally 2 of them that they was trying to charge, but one of them was so far out of position and had such a good alibi, they couldn't even fabricate that case. Right, MK Ultra. So, what's the third one? 5 years after that. What was the response, though? The Patriot Act. Right? We ain't gonna get too much into the Patriot Act, but the Patriot Act was the response for count 2. Then you had what they call a coup de grace. This is the grand announcement that we moving. We on your ass. 911. Motherfucker. 911. We on your ass. Now, I have to be able to show the human connection, real tight connection between those who are involved. I'm going to name 3 people that are seemingly, 2 of them are connected, but one of them seemed to have an entirely different ideology. The first one was George Herbert Walker Bush. The second one was William Jefferson Clinton. And the third one was George Walker Bush. Right? Now, what's the connection in Bill Clinton and the Bushes? Well, all of the politicians in D.C., in Arkansas, in Florida where Jeb at, Texas where George Walker at, all of them called Clinton the old man's adopted son. George Herbert Walker Bush is the one who introduced Hillary Clinton, who was a Republican at the time, to a young Democrat that he thought was very charismatic named William Jefferson Clinton while they were in college. And they both were tutored, trained by Herbert Walker Bush. Now, this is them telling you they finna take the world over and they finna launch a new rape campaign and a new campaign against the children. That's what those 3 events were. Now, is there any other way that we can tie these people to the takeover attempt? Yes. You can tie George Herbert Walker Bush to an oil company that was present at the assassination of John F. Kennedy. What does John F. Kennedy have to do with it? John F. Kennedy was the one who warned us He gave 2 speeches. Separation in Church and State warned us about the Jesuits, Francis and them. John Kennedy gave that speech. Also, he gave another one called Address to the Press Club of America, where he told you we was under attack by a megalithic, or was it monolithic, whatever it is, conspiracy around the world. He told you it was economic, social, political, scientific, and religious. So they had to get rid of him. So they had to kill John. But first they had to desecrate him and turn him into a womanizer, because it'll make the women support his destruction better. And then they will be able to more easily get away with it. You see, when the women love the leader, even if he's a foul piece of shit, he's untouchable. But as soon as he loses the favor of the women, the men will no longer accept him. So when they make the moves on the earth to destroy sacred sites, those are identifiers of an attack plan that has developed and been unleashed on women. It's rare that they destroy a sacred site, because it's rare that they can come up with a new way to oppress the women. They done did it so long, they so good at it. So I'm looking through the comments in case I got any question. Oh, you're absolutely right about Joshua Keefe. You're absolutely right what you said. The Saturn spilling his gut, Saturn eating his own children in the C-section. Yes, you're right. All of that is related. But there's another reason for C-sections too. In the imposter women, the reptile women, they got what you call closed hips. Okay. Yep, the rise of the sisterhood, Chanel, you on that? Yes, the men have to protect the women. Our job as men on earth is to, even if the woman don't want it, she don't have to know we doing it. Our number one job is to protect the women and to provide sustenance and support for the women. Okay, so I don't have no questions I need to. Yes. Yes, that's what I was just talking about, Jack the Ripper and them trying to stop these women from hiding. Anytime they see a good sisterhood forming, they attack it. Now, they got 4 sisters up in D.C. now. And they from different walks of life, but one thing about them is they don't buy the bullshit. Okay? You said that, but did you do what you said you was going to do? You accountable for what you said you was going to do. That make them become bad women in the press. That make it become bad women in the press. Now, those 4 women are not regular. I got to point that out to y'all women. They here for y'all. They ain't here for male gender. They specifically here for you. They don't call them the 4 horses of the apocalypse haphazardly. They saying that for a reason. These women are here to fight for women to reclaim their positions. Those 4 women, y'all women need to go on a social media campaign and a letter writing campaign and start letting them know, hands the fuck off the 4 horsemen. Hands the fuck off. Every woman need to write. Every time you hear one of them dudes or get on there and start trying to cut them down, make it where they start trying to put other women up to degrade them. Then they're going to weed out the imposters in front of your face. Make it where it's so politically incorrect for a man to even say one thing wrong about and one of them 4 women. And they're going to make all of the imposter bitches Come out of the closet. Then y'all gonna know the enemy amongst you. Then you're gonna get to see them show their colors. Make it where it's unhealthy for a man to say something about any one of them 4 women. Every fucking time they open their mouth and a man say something about it, blow his ass out the water on social media or letter writing campaigns and phone calls to the news media. Put their ass on blast. Make it where the only thing they can do if they want to attack those women is put a woman up to it. Then it's going to start making the imposters show they self and show their hand. Yes. Yes, Iman Bey. Y'all, you know how we used to have church revivals in the basement at home? Y'all need to have sisterhood revivals in the basement at home. And anybody that want to lead one, we can do a module so you'll know what part of the womanly studies you need to present at what time in order to be on pace. But y'all really, once y'all get together and y'all understand how the energy flow, y'all don't need no man to tell y'all. She's going to tell you herself what to do, but y'all just got to lock into her. I'm going to give y'all references where y'all can understand how the mechanism works. You understand the process, you can use it. If you don't know how an engine works, you can't repair it. But once you understand how it works, you can fix the engine. Yeah, any woman. The white man don't like the white woman because she had the right to a sin before him. He didn't have a right to a sin. The white woman got the right first because she was able to have her life portal turned on by the Queen of Heaven and Earth. And that's what really pissed him off to launch the campaign of rape in Rome. That's what really set him off because now they really hate the women. It's 4 of them, Don. 4 women up there on Capitol Hill. It ain't no secret. Look on my page. It ain't no secret. And Manny, if you put your group together, I'll give you a brief outline of the 3 most important things, and I'll give you some study material. But the women need to be whispering behind the men back that them 4 women on Capitol Hill, they keep attacking. They're not attacking them because they done anything wrong. They attacking them only because they trying to do something right. Now, if they was doing... This is where we get the major distress call to start forming a front in Florida from them.
Okay.
Right. Now, they being brought over as POWs.
Okay.
They're not from Africa. This is all documented in the history books.
Yeah.
So they taking islanders, bringing them over here. So we send a distress call clean across the land on the Wind Talker channel. It's all hands on deck. Go to Google.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You got these niggas, man. Hold up. Let's go to Google. All right. Go back. All right. What you got?
Type in indigenous 500 years of war.
Oh, war. All right, I got it. You want me to pull over?
Go to images.
All right.
It's gonna be a crest in here about the 500 years of war.
Okay, let me look at it. Okay. I see those Hun people too. You be talking about. Okay. Let's see. Native buffalo hunt use every part of the buffalo. Yeah, we ate the heart first. Hey, Rob.
Who told you that?
Huh?
Who told you that?
Well, at least I seen that these beans on I might have just seen that on one of those movies. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah, we need the heart first.
What we ate, the liver, or what we ate first? The brain.
Look, the liver and the heart was for special purposes.
For like
only certain people was allowed to eat the liver and the heart.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna get into that because that's a good sidetrack. Because that's a rich part of the culture, the diet and the taking away of the bison. Is very critical in our oppression, and that's a whole nother show. I don't see it, Elder.
Yeah, I don't see it either. So I got indigenous 500-year war. Let's Let's try this.
Try native in place of indigenous.
All right. 500 years we fought, man. That's a long ass time to fight.
I think from 1492 to 1992 is how long.
This might be it right here. We fight the conquistadors, the people who don't care.
I'd like to see that picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow it up for you. I'm gonna blow it up for you, man. Hold up. All right, so you got shit. This right here, fire. It's a fire picture right here. I be getting some fire pictures when I be on with you, bro. I'm telling you. These joints.
I'm gonna see if I can find the one I'm looking for in my file.
Let's see. Oh yeah, these some fire pictures right here. Oh, let me say that. I'm gonna say that picture and blow it up for you when they fighting these conquistadors. They said people that don't care. Oh yeah, it's about to get greasy up in here. And like we was making them, they was running us off the cliff and shit, off of throwing us off waterfalls and shit. Here we go, right here. Let me blow it up. Damn. All right, hold up. Get out of the way. All right, let me blow that joint up, man. Hey, you supposed to go over them stickers too, though. You supposed to go over them stickers, them Mexican stickers. You already said you gonna say on it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna mess with them no more. That's
okay. All right.
You talking about the stamps, right?
Yeah, the stamps. All right, here we go. Right
That's
here.
just to show you that the struggle the same everywhere we at.
It's a picture of them coming to fall. These Indians coming. They had boats already. Natives or whatever.
Man, they got us thinking we ain't had boats, dog. We was traveling this bitch everywhere.
That's what I was telling people, man. Look, like I say, look, they even got the red coat on. Like they probably took these niggas shit. That's how we was, you know. That shit crazy.
We do out of habit to kill a motherfucker and put on his bloody ass clothes.
That's our type of shit, man. I'm telling you, that's how niggas do, man. I'm telling you. Like take that and they wear it like a trophy. It's like a trophy. Like, yeah, I conquered this nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? I got his chain. That's why, like in New York area and some of them areas, when they kill somebody, they was snatch their chain just as like a trophy. And it's also just the same thing as chopping their head off and wearing it on a necklace, like they do when he came to Xerxes on the 300. He had all those kings' head around his on his chain, and he said, "No, you bring the kings of conquered, the heads of conquered kings to my doorstep, and then you insult my queen." That nigga looked back, and then what I like about Xerxes, he looked back at his wife before he kicked him off. He looked back at his wife. She gave that nigga the head nod. I said, "Oh yeah, that's gangster." And then he kicked him, nigga. Boom. As soon as his wife said, "Get them niggas." You know what I'm saying? If my wife say get you, nigga, it's a wrap, nigga. I'm telling you. If I look at her face and she say get that nigga right there, oh man, it's over with for you, bro.
Why are you reenacting the Chris Rock slap?
Oh, the Chris Rock, oh yeah, pretty much is what
you don't even realize you reenacting it, do you?
Will Smith. Yeah, go ahead. I'm
you reenacting that shit.
That's how it is. But, I feel Will on there.
Anyway, so somebody mentioned that they're going through the jurisdictional struggle in Jamaica with the Queen in real time. Y'all already won that shit. Just like Barbados, that bitch is done with it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
you want me to show like this picture? You want me to? This ain't a good picture. You want me to show that one I was talking about? That you was talking about? Like this right here was like a picture of one when they making the conquistadors, the natives fighting them at the look, they got a dam or something right here. Hold on, let me get the one I was trying to find. Or I think it was the one that said, yeah, let me save it. This one right here. Can you see that picture?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me blow it up again, man, because that joint. Okay, where did it go? Oh yeah, baby. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I don't think it's letting me save it, man. It's still jumping out. Oh yeah. Maybe I can pull up in this one though. Hold up. It's a different type of image. Yeah, here you go, right here. All right, let's blow this up. All right, so this right here, picture right here, brother Rod. Like these natives, they got leopard on.
Oh shit. Yeah, I wanted to see that. That's
they fighting against these are the like the Spaniards, right? The conquistadors.
But I know when I see their gear, if that's who they are.
The type of helmet they got on and shit.
Yeah, that's Spanish.
Cortez now. They came. You
don't notice the Jaguar with the bow shooting bow and arrow at the
right here. Yeah, right here. That's what I was looking at. What the hell was that? A leopard or a jaguar?
It's a jaguar.
Okay.
Leopards from Africa.
You're right. Hey, go ahead. That's another key point right there, brother Rod. There's certain animals are indigenous over here and they're not indigenous in Africa. That's a point that I be making too.
Yeah. So
like Buffalo indigenous over here. Is eagles indigenous over here too? Not over in America. I mean, Africa. Is it eagles in Africa?
There's eagles all over the world. Different types of eagles, though. Okay, you got different types of bird of prey too. You got eagles, falcons, and hawks is the main three. Then you got your nocturnal, like the owls, and they got different strains of them too.
I been meant to tell you too, man. You went off on that tape on the Black Magic channel, that City of the Gods tape. And y'all need to go check that tape out, man, on Black Magic channel that Rod Hayes did the other night, man. I listened to that tape today. I said, man, Rod really went over a lot of niggas' head in that tape. They really just listening to him, just eating their popcorn, like they just talking, man. You go listen to that tape there. You dropped a lot of Jews in that tape. That tape there on the Black Magic channel.
Yeah, it was like one of the sisters called me out and asked why I didn't translate the name of the pyramid to Tiahuanaca. You know, because it means sacred Tahuti.
I think you said that on the tape though. You was talking about Tahuti.
Yeah, I didn't go into the name. I went into the place, what the place was, but the name actually says the sacred place of Tahuti.
Yeah, I need to go check that tape out, man. It's a lot of Jews in that tape. And I can just tell how the chats was that people, a lot of that stuff was going on people's head. It was just like it being entertained, but I was listening for my next clue to put this shit together. You know what I'm saying? Listening for my next clue. But go ahead. I ain't mean to hold you up though. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. We building. We building. So when we fight these Seminole wars, right? We didn't have a problem with getting eaten by alligators back then. We had lived so close with them that we would be able to use them as stepping stools to run across the water. Right? That's fine. So you remember the story they tell us about the enemy feeding our babies to the crocodiles? That was called crocodile baiting to condition them to eat human flesh because they wouldn't eat us. Yeah. But they would attack the enemy. That's right. If you ride through Florida, you see all those charred sticks or tree stumps sticking out of the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. I see that a lot. Go ahead.
That's the marshlands. Those trees used to be so fucking thick down there. They burned them all down because they couldn't get in there to get at us, and we was tearing their ass up from the treetops and from the goddamn roots.
Yeah,
we was kicking their ass. And that's what makes
guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Look, you know something? Hey, to add to what you're saying, to build on what you're saying, if you go watch the movie The Patriots, right, and that the fighting style that they use to get them British off of them, they learned that from us, from the Seminole Wars. Remember how they was hiding in the bushes, hiding in the trees? They'd be hiding in the tunnels, like you said. You know what I'm saying? And then they are ambushed. We ambushed this shit. They didn't know nothing about that. They didn't know nothing about being ambushing niggas. We started that shit.
Yep. We was fucking their ass up.
Yeah, because we had we were using small numbers to fight the larger numbers, all these more what they would call it organized, but we really were more organized than them. We were more, and we knew the terrain of the land. We knew the layout of the land. You know what I'm saying? Because it's our shit.
Yep.
So they know when they came up jacking with us, 10 natives can take out a whole army. They'll think like 15 niggas shooting at them. Because if you go back and watch that movie Rosewood, right? And the nigga, I forget the dude name. They played that big dude, right? They was playing the guy that they was after. He had 245s fully loaded, right? Hey, the white boys chased him off into the woods, right? Then he ran a certain amount of yards in there. Then he turned around and just pulled his guns out. And then when they came in there, he just unloaded both guns on them. They ran off out the woods. They went back and told the county sheriff, "Hey man, 15 niggas just jumped us in the woods." And it really was just one dude with 245s. So we did shit like that. Like we knew how to take on a big ass, because that dude there, he definitely had to be connected with the niggas we was just talking about, the Geechee niggas. You know what I'm saying? How big he is, how he look. You know what I'm saying? And then how a nigga back then going to town riding a horse, and he got 245s. They didn't even have that type of guns in the 60s. You know, it's 1960s. They had revolvers and shotguns. That's the most a nigga had. So how that nigga get 45s way back then? You know what I'm saying? To let somebody have it. You know what I'm saying? And he got the bullets for that joint. You got to have some money, man. Be a high dollar soldier to have them type of nickel plated 45s back during. That's like with the 1800 window of Rosewood, like the early. It's like it was before the 60s. Then they started getting Uzis and shit until the Rick Ross at favorite phase when the Alphabet boys started pumping. Well, really,
in the 80s.
It's really
the 80s is when we really started getting heavy firepower.
Yeah, right. So how that nigga get 245s back in that time? Man?
I'm sending you some more additions.
Send it to me.
Okay, them ain't what I was looking for, but since they came up, I figured I'd send them and make it part of the discussion. Okay. Let's get back on the track. Okay, so now we know they burned the trees down, chopped trees down throughout Florida. You can still see, riding through Florida, you can still see the burnt, charred remains of many of the trees that still have stumps. Right? You can see the old bridges that deteriorated that was being used before the new bridges we own now. They show all of that stuff is still there. Right? So once we got done whooping their ass, we dispersed because of the Conjure War. The Conjure War was the 200 years. See if you can remember which side of the water you from, motherfucker.
Right.
Remember? Yep. If you can remember your ancestry, who came in with fezzes, who came in with feathers.
Yeah, with feathers up.
And can you distinguish the difference in the two? The problem is somebody couldn't remember who the fuck they was, and they were supposed to conquer us, but they couldn't remember who the fuck they was, so they put the feathers on and thought they was us.
Yeah. Hey, the Boston Tea Party. They dressed with the feathers. The niggas with the feds dressed up with feathers to stop Benjamin Banneker. At least that's what they said.
We don't remember all that though.
Yep.
But Benjamin Banneker is the one who was the translator for Lewis and Clark. Big B and Bay. That's him. Right? He also known as Son of York.
Yep.
Okay, so as long as we know what we know.
Yeah, we got him.
And we know the first motherfucker that killed.
He's a sellout. He's a sellout. The Bible says he's a sellout.
The first one that they killed for the blood to write the new Constitution in was Crispus Attucks. Why they got to keep telling you the nigga died first?
Right.
And they got to keep telling you that. The nigga died first.
Yeah.
No, he didn't die. They murdered him and wrote the Constitution in his blood because there's a universal law that say that the blood of the righteous shall not be spilled in vain, which binds us to that contract because it's our chief's blood.
Man, bro.
So we gonna follow all the rules and they gonna break them because they don't give a fuck about our chief.
Exactly. Hold on, I'm gonna slide them pictures right now.
So we didn't show them where the different tribes amalgamated in Florida became called Seminoles by the enemy. But the directors of the Seminole Wars was Gullah chiefs. And the Gullah chiefs sent the distress call out and went as far away as Tongan Islands, the Samoan Islands, Hawaii, Alaska, all sent soldiers to fight in the Seminole Wars. And this is why in Pueblo, Colorado, the Pueblo villages was empty.
Mm-hmm.
They was all fighting in the war. That's why they kept saying it was an admixture of tribes, because we was all mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always be in each other's business, but when it's something that threatens all of us, our nature is the instructions from Big Mama.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck how y'all get along. Don't let no outsiders come in here and kick your ass.
Yep. Straight up, I'm with
y'all.
you.
Y'all can fight when it's over with amongst each other, but right now y'all got to get rid of these motherfuckers that don't belong.
Mm-hmm. I'm with that, Big Mama.
Did that say 83% of all true Americans with African ancestry have Native American blood? How in the fuck is that possible?
Right.
That's got to be a paper genocide. And then we got to look at how long has Africa been called Africa?
Exactly.
Right? Because it wasn't always called Africa. So where was they coming from? Exactly. If they were coming from Africa before it was called Africa. I be asking too many of them little simple ass questions.
Same like damn land. That's where they're coming from. Same people. Same everybody.
Mm-hmm. Next picture.
All right.
Hey, Pot 9 Black say everything in the U.S. the land didn't break up. They broke up your brain in the fractal.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a way to look at it.
Damn sure is.
Yep, chiefs are designated by most loved, most respected, and no matter what gender they is. All of the islands was already fighting when we got the message to form the barrier with. It also told us about the infiltrators too. But all of the islands was already engaged in the conflict from 1492 to 1700. The islands in South America was already fighting the conquistadors.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We didn't know in this part of the land, we didn't know what's going on until we got the message from the other parts of the land. Lakari Maurice Kinsey said they stole us from here. Goddamn right, but we ain't never left, so we always been here.
That's right.
That's why I say we've been here so long. We had to come here before here because we had to make here be a place.
Yeah, that's right. And Baba said it in the Let's Hit the Record Straight book.
Look at what that say. The almost total extinction of the Negroes during the time of the who conquest?
The Spanish conquest.
And the memories of them. Hold on.
And the most ancient tradition used to believe that the Negroes were the first inhabitants of Mexico. Physically, archaeologist Nicholas Leon, historian general of Mexico, 1919.
Right. So Pot 9 Black brought up the Iroquois Confederacy in the Constitution. So this is how they even got a copy of the Constitution to activate the blood of Crispus Attucks. It's from the original Constitution, which was derived from the Iroquois Constitution, which was originally an oral document that the chiefs taught to their sons and daughters so that they can be lawgivers in the land.
Mm-hmm.
You knew the rank and the level by how much of the Constitution they could recite orally without having to reference written work. Right? So it's just like making the Constitution into a rap song.
Exactly.
And you remember every part of the song, you can perform that motherfucker now.
That's right.
So but you can't perform none of the song until you can remember the whole song.
It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Right. Look at the next picture. And look close now.
Who are those so-called natives who you see on the TV?
Now look at them people in there. This is actually the hieroglyphics out of somewhere in Mexico.
Yeah.
They look Aztec. Miriam's just going over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
These is them how the Amaru people depicted themselves. And they had multiple clans under the title.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Black, dark skinned people, because oh yeah, he did put it in there, man.
Okay, so let's read a little bit of this picture as opposed to a little bit of the words. Do you see the 4 people standing
At the top?
Right. And you see it's people on each side of them.
Yep.
Okay, now the ones in the middle are the elder lawgivers. See the white robes?
Yep.
You see the ones on the left and the right don't have white robes.
That's right.
Because they come into the elders to get the law or to be examined for the law.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you look on the left side, you'll see the guy holding up what looked like a writing pad, and then behind him, you got people that look like they playing drums.
Yeah. He holding
So
up a bowl.
He might
holding up a bowl. Right here, right here on this side where he holding up.
Yeah.
He holding up a bowl, and this right here look like some kind of maybe like a bat or some kind of something. And then they got some kind of, it could be a fan, like the fans they fan the nigga with,
or a tambourine or something like that.
Because I used to see my grandma with these in church.
Okay, now these is offerings. They making an offering to the elders above them. Now you notice that the elder above them have on elaborate gear.
Yeah, gold and shit.
Yeah, but he's not a lawgiver. That means, so he would be what you call a dignitary that is right on the side of the lawgivers. So he could be like the law enforcer.
Okay.
The other ones can be the court. If you look to the right, they're mostly females up there.
Yeah.
So that could be the court.
And down here too, it's females. Mostly.
When you get down there, that's all ceremonial.
Uh-huh.
They're going through a ceremony. You see the trumpets on the left, right? And they got different headgears on going around in the pictures. It's a ceremony or a ritual going on.
Yeah. I believe it's like some kind of inauguration or something, like of the pharaoh or the chief, or making somebody like a pharaoh, like they come in to make a decision on this dude being the pharaoh, and they doing like an anointed. Because in ancient Kemet, we used to do the same thing, like when the pharaoh, it's like a what they call it, the Sed festival and all that. So I believe that same culture it's got some similarities, man. With the trumpets, I seen that same thing. But these people definitely niggas. For lack of it, they're definitely dark-skinned beings for sure.
Ain't no doubt about it. All right, let's move on.
Tupac's people, man, the whole time. Crazy Horse.
ODB Chief Crazy Horse. He didn't look like that.
Hell no.
Look what it's like. Look what it's like.
The Mongolians.
What did one of the Bible say?
True native of West Africa, now called American African, meaning the earth, divine name, or makes them. Yeah, the movies they do that, man. They really messing with the kids.
I'm just tripping on Crazy Horse. That nigga looked just like ODP. He looked more Shinnecock than he did Chippewa Cherokee.
Yeah, Shinnecock, the Massachusetts. Old Dirty the same. That's really. I think that's really the tribe that I know you and Mike Tyson from the same tribe. I know that for a fact. Y'all get too much resemblance. And he from that up north too, that same area, like the Massachusetts, like the Old Dirty Bastard tribe. They said that he came from that tribe, Old Dirty Bastard.
P
Funk, what's that dude named P Funk? George Clint. He definitely he's from that same tribe, the Massachusetts.
ODD Shinnecock.
Yes, yeah, Shinnecock is the same as Massachusetts. See, like the at first, I don't know if they was called Massachusetts at first or Shinnecock first, but I know that's the same tribe. It's the same.
Somebody said I'm reaching.
Lord loves me. Who reaching it?
I don't know.
Shit, we ain't gotta reach. This is easy. We ain't got to reach for it. We already, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no reaching. Yeah, but the Shinnecock, like if you go do your research, I already did a tape on it called the Native Americans to Color tape. Well, these beings, they got pushed off their land, just like you saying right now. They got pushed off the land in up in Maine, New York area, all that area, Jersey, Delaware.
Caesar is being raised as a human, but he's an ape. This is a reverse storytelling of a different story. Caesar's being raised as a human, but he's an ape. But he got the light strain, which can evolve into the life strain within him. So as Caesar grows up, you know, he feel like he wanted a family to the people he's living with. He protects that old man, and it gets him into some trouble, because in pack animals, especially the primates, when the family is under attack, there is no limit where the soldiers of the clan, which is of the other rankings, will go in order to protect the pack. This is basic pack behavior, and humans are pack animals. So when he get in trouble, they lock him up. When they lock him up, there's only one in there, the orangutan, that understands Caesar well enough to talk to him. The orangutan is representative of the Asian connection to the African. The Asian connection to the African develops with the legend of Sun Wukong. And Sun Wukong, in his celestial backflip, being told by the Buddha, and the Buddha naming him Hanuman, being the highest evolution of perfected man, being one with the Creator. In other words, fully realized. So when the Frenchman wrote the book, he was reflecting the 3/5 compromise in the Dred Scott ruling. Because if you can only tax them 3/5, you have to know the origin of taxation. Then you have to know how does it apply and what does it mean. So if they can only tax you 3/5, the only thing in the history of Earth that you were never allowed to tax was God. So by the default, the unrealized 2/5, the light strain and the life strain being dormant, surrenders the jurisdiction to the subject matter, because the light strain and the life strain is dormant. Those parts cannot be taxed. But when you get into the three-dimensional fixed position reality, they talking about the physical body, they talking about the emotional body, and they talking about the mental body, because you have the other 2/5 unrealized. Now, when you 2/5 awaken, these 2/5 claim first jurisdiction and first right of the 3/5, because the 3/5 is the mobile animating construct in which it navigates this reality. So this is what they put in Caesar, the light strain, life strain, the 2/5 that became realized when he was in prison. So what did Caesar come up with after consulting with the orangutan is that he needed to find a way to turn on the light strain, life strain in the rest of the apes, because they don't understand right now that they even in prison. So Caesar dip out in the middle of the night, go to the place where they kept the vials of the light strain, life strain, come back, flood the room with it, you know what I'm saying, and turn on the light strain, life strain of all of the rest of the apes. Now they are starting to form organized mass moving units. They are forming, this is, now we had Ezekiel in Old Testament. This is the raising of the dry bones. And that's what the fumes represented when it said Ezekiel speak to the winds. The fumes that came from the canisters was Caesar's way of telling his brethren to awaken from their slumber. So the Planet of the Apes is probably one of the most significant movies, especially this last one that came out, as to the rise of the Rh positive bloodlines and the reclaiming of the throne of Earth. They already understand that this is a done deal and it's over. We just have to unify to tell them we know it too. So if I give y'all the information, then y'all can run with it.
Okay, so now the life strain being fully realized, now you 5/5. The only person got jurisdiction over you is the Christ, because the Christ is the only true judge. The Christ is the only true judge. Nobody else can have jurisdiction of the person, because they can maintain the jurisdiction of the subject matter because it's all within their system. Let them have that. But because of the realized, the 2/5 that's realized, the light strain, the life strain, because they become realized, they become first claim of right to the other 3/5. So as holding the first claim of right, nobody can judge you any longer but the Christ, because the Christ is the one who controls the light strain, life strain. So in the Planet of the Apes, as they move through the various phases of the prophecy, you wind up at the end with Caesar after the final battle and causing the destruction of the enemy and escaping with a bullet wound, or I think it was maybe an arrow wound. And he's sitting up there. That is Moses on the mountaintop. It's telling you in plain sight what it is. If you read the story of Moses, when he gets to the mountaintop, he's allowed to look out over the promised land. What Malcolm say, I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you. He said it. So, the promised land that Caesar looked out over, he passed away before the rest of the clan went into the promised land. He watched out over them as they all went into the promised. It's the same story in Moses in the Bible. It's the exact same story. It's no different. So they tell you these things in pop culture to weave various different prophecies, signs, and events into a format in which you could possibly discover the secret if you knew what you were looking at. But because you only accept it as for entertainment value, then there's no way that you can utilize it to its maximum benefit of seeing and unraveling the information. So that's why you have people that go on YouTube and they do decoding videos to try to help others at the awakening point unravel the mystery before us, because it's all obvious in plain sight, and they use misdirection so we don't see it. It's the same as David Copperfield making the elephant disappear. We know he didn't make the elephant disappear, but he made it look like he made the elephant disappear. But he didn't make the elephant disappear. The elephant didn't go nowhere. He just made it look like it went somewhere. Misdirection. If you don't pay attention, the misdirection will make you think you're looking at the actual thing. But you're not looking at the actual thing. You're falling for the misdirection. And when you look at these movies, our inner child become wrapped up in an entertainment value, and our scholar goes to sleep because the child is dancing, having fun. But don't stop the child from dancing and having fun. Just don't let the scholar go to sleep, because you're not supposed to overindulge in analysis of things, but you're not supposed to ignore what's in plain sight either. When you start seeing all of the stuff that they automatically tell you, why do you think they put money magic on the dollar bill? Because you have to know that there's money magic on the dollar bill. Why? Because you have the right to discover the deception. Any deception they pull, they have to expose you to it in order for you to have the opportunity to break the code. So in the X-Men, in Panther, in the Planet of the Apes, they weave the same tapestry together as they did with Thanos. Thanos is the same force in the X-Men that they call Apocalypse. The same thing. Kronos, coming to eat his own babies. The only thing that you can't escape is time in a 3D fixed position reality. That's Kronos eating his own babies. But he's really not eating his babies. His babies is not able to outstretch the wrath of Kronos as the stretching of time, because time is drawn out in a linear fashion, and it's difficult for a
person that has abstract vision to navigate linear vision. But it's the same way for a person with linear vision to navigate abstract spiritual vision. So they use these to their advantage to confuse our mind. Because once they get us confused, that's when the misdirection works best. Because it becomes a suggestibility issue at that point, as any hypnotist can tell you. So in all these movies, they tell you in plain sight about the Messiah myth. They tell you about the resurrection. They tell you about the Exodus. They tell you about the return of the Christ. They tell you about Moses reaching the promised land. They're telling you all of them again, but they got subtleties there. And then they got what they call streamers that pop up in the middle of nowhere. Like the story of Wonder Woman, being that she is the God killer. Only a God can kill a God. And she the only one on earth. And she a woman. This is not matching with something. That means God must be a woman. God must be a woman, because if God was a man and you needed a God to kill a God, then you would need a man God to kill him. Because only a man God can kill a man God. Or a God can kill a God. They didn't say a goddess. They said a God. So they're giving you a subtle confession there in Wonder Woman. If you really look at the story of what they tell you in Wonder Woman, they lay it all out. Adolf Hitler being Ares, the god of war, the wrath of Earth. Ares was defending Earth from foreign invaders. Okay. They telling you the story. But Diana, who is Diana? Follow her history. She was a Greek goddess, you know. And Diana was just another representative of Isis. But she was Greek. The Greek pantheon was written by Egyptian priests. So when you look at Wonder Woman, you're not even realizing that you're really talking about the Christ. Because the Christ is a woman. And it's provable with the Bible if everybody just look at the truth that's in plain sight. But I'm not going to get into that because we're on pop culture. Also in pop culture, you have like Superman. This is the greatest farce. Who is Superman? Kal-El. Now watch what they did. Kal-El is El-Kali, a woman. That's why they had to give you Supergirl. El-Kali is Kali from the Indus Valley that they call the Dark Mother. And she is supposed to be the Christ because she's known in Egypt as Isis, which translates in English as Jesus, basically, for if you look at it for what it is. Okay, so they telling you in all of the pop culture the secret, but because it's in plain sight, you can't see it because of the misdirection and the entertainment value. We get so caught up in being entertainment and keeping up with the Joneses that even when they tell you something obvious, you miss it. You miss it. So, who else do we talk about in the Amazonians that she dwelled among, her mother being one of them. Now, her mother is not a god killer. The Amazonians in ancient times were the Gorgons. The Gorgons. Now, notice they call them Amazonians, and they lived on the riverbank. The Amazon is in South America, but the story comes from Greece in Central Europe. Now pay attention to that. The Amazon River is in South America. The Amazon story comes from Greece in Central Europe. Now, Columbus didn't even exist when the Amazon story was written. But remember, you got to change the names to protect the guilty. You got to change the name to protect the guilty. The Amazonians were the Gorgons. And the Gorgons were the women guardians of Earth. And Medusa was one of them. Medusa was punished because she got raped and turned into a hideous monster, so to speak. That's the story.
and one of the Titans or one of the sun demigods chopped her head off and all that. That's not true, but that's a myth. But it's a telling of a story to get a point across, because the power that the woman had when people first started seeing rosters with dreadlocks, the subconscious memory of the Gorgons shook fear in the marrow of the first so many people that seen it. And this is why. The Gorgons were warrior queens, and they were also called the Sibyls. And they had factions that protected Earth all over Earth before the invaders came. This is your story of the Amazonian warrior princesses. In real life, if you want to know real stories of them, they still exist. These warrior women are still here. They're with us. They walk with us every day. We see them carrying the weight of the world on their shoulder with a smile, never knowing that they are an undercover warrior of God. So when they seen these dreadlocks, what they call the Nazarene rite, they thought the Gorgon had returned and awakened. So that's why they automatically call Rastas the natty dread, or that dreaded lock. They dreaded that the Gorgons, which is all women, by the way, there are no men that were Gorgons, and they reproduced through parthenogenesis, and they were guardians of Earth. That was their job. Now, when the invaders came, they put the Earth into a coma. And they done it by flipping the grid from an electron-proton-electron grid, which was feminine in construct, into a proton-electron-proton grid, which is masculine in construct. Now, how did the prophecies know at this time it would be a rampant amount of what they call homosexuality? It has nothing to do with anything being wrong with a person. It goes with an energy and a